Hello, my name is Jim Danielson at Carolina Museum of the Marine in Jacksonville, North Carolina. This course is titled The Art of Thinking, How to Think, Not What to Think. We begin in this course by explaining why thinking matters. And from there we talk about worldview. Everyone has one, but most people are not really aware of it, and we'll understand the importance of that as we go. A worldview are the basic beliefs that everyone has that we interpret the world through. Interestingly, we rarely reason to them, but we reason from them. This course is an exercise in learning to think well, and in doing so, to take steps toward recovering a society that is good for the people living in it. We begin by discussing the right of free speech. Between 1720 and 1723, John Trenchard and Thomas Gordon published a series of 144 essays in a London journal in opposition to the corruption of British corporations and the British government. Trenchard and Gordon wrote under the pen name Cato for the Roman statesman who defied Julius Caesar. Letter 15, written by Gordon, begins this way, quote, "Sir, without freedom of thought, there can be no such thing as wisdom, and no such thing as public liberty without freedom of speech, which is the right of every man as far as by it he does not hurt and control the right of another. And this is the only check which it ought to suffer, the only bounds which it ought to know. This sacred privilege is so essential to free government that the security of property and the freedom of speech always go together. And in those wretched countries where a man cannot call his tongue his own, he can scarce call anything else his own. Whoever would overthrow the liberty of the nation must begin by subduing the freedom of speech." We Americans are committed to freedom and self-government, which means that we must be committed to freedom of speech. And if we are going to be committed to freedom of speech, we should be committed to speaking skillfully, or at least as skillfully as we can. A cultural tradition, as the great Irish parliamentarian Edmund Burke observed in the 18th century, is more a bond of spirit than of matter. And a tradition takes a long time to develop. This is why a cultural tradition is a bond among the living, the dead, and those yet to be born. The life's blood of a cultural tradition is conversation, and this is why Thomas Gordon argues so carefully for the importance of freedom of thought and freedom of speech. But also in conversation, people are able to consider what is good and true, and importantly, what is incoherent in their cultural tradition. By thinking carefully through anomalous elements in a tradition, its members can correct them and improve the tradition. When you find a broken pipe in your home, you repair it. You don't burn the house down. Likewise, when you find an incoherent or even immoral part of your tradition, you repair it, you fix it. You don't burn down the society. Now, we aren't talking simply about a bunch of isolated individuals occupying the same territory. We human beings are bound together by relationships like parents and children, siblings, friends, religious associates, business associates. And so the individual is immersed in social bonds, and this we call social bond individualism. The healthy social bond individualism is a heart of free, self-governing society, and it depends for its existence on conversation, which is the fruit of the art of thinking. In the next segment, we will consider worldview.